Good morning. My name is Galien, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Notre Dame. So first, I'd like to start with this compositional plot of iron number versus chromium number. And all of these are spinel compositions from Apollo and Luna missions, as well as lunar meteorites. And large spinel bearing lithologies have been detected via M cubed. And the composition of those Mg spinels are iron number of less than 0.1 and chromium number of less than 0.05. So here is a blue square representing that composition. And I think it's really clear from this plot that the majority of spinels in our sample collection do not represent this remotely detected spinel composition. To my knowledge, I've seen 4 in the literature from Luna 20, Apollo 16, and Apollo 11. So the question is, why is there this disparity between the M cubed spinel and the spinel in the sample rocks? So here is a topography map where the black letters represent remotely detected spinel localities. And I've overlain triangles for Apollo landing sites, circles for Chang'e 5 landing sites, and squares for Luna landing sites. And here are the locations where we have seen Mg spinel in the record: Apollo 16, Apollo 11, and Luna 20. So looking at this figure, it is clear to me that some of those sites would make sense to have Mg spinel, but I see other landing sites that are close to remotely detected localities that we don't see Mg spinel in the record. And another thing that stands out to me is how widespread these lithologies are. So in order to discuss Mg spinel occurrence, I'd like to talk about spinel formation on the moon. And we can see from experimental data that spinel can crystallize from the lunar magma ocean. We can see it here in the second to bottom rectangle in this little black box. This is spinel, and it can occur from LMO origin if it's a wet moon. So in this, it's 3,150 ppm water. In addition to a potential lunar magma ocean origin, main methods of spinel lunar spinel formation include assimilation of an orthositic crustal material into basaltic magma and impact melts. So here we have 3 ternary diagrams. On the far left, this is demonstrating that spinel cannot generate from a forsterite normative basaltic composition. In the middle ternary diagram, we can see that anorthosite-rich troctolites can generate spinel, as well as assimilation of crustal material seen in the half black, half white circle with forsterite normative basaltic material with a mixing component of anorthositic material. And then on the right ternary diagram, we can see in blue the spinel stability field, which can be expanded with increasing pressure. So now I'd like to discuss station 3 spinel bearing samples. I have 5 plotted here, 3 of which are 73215 samples, and the other 2 are 73216 and 73263. So the majority of these do plot in a pretty narrow range from chromium number of 0.08 to 0.11 and iron number of 0.15 to 0.36. However, 73215-170 has a much greater compositional range from quite chromium poor to more chromium rich. So I observed 73215-275 and I analyzed major element data using a Kamika SX100 electron microprobe. I took element maps and then took this major element data, and then here is a very exaggerated aluminum element map showing spinel in red. And then here is a plane polarized light photomicrograph of the sample with one of the larger spinels accentuated there. 73215-275 is a clast from an aphanitic impact melt breccia. that was collected from the rim of the 10-meter crater at Station 3. So here are the results of those spinel compositions in red, as well as 73215-170 again. As we can see, 275 plots pretty well within the 170 range, and they show a nearly identical fractional crystallization trend, and both increase chromium number with increasing iron number. So here's the same plot, but bringing back in those other Station 3 spinels. We have 73215 in red, green, yellow, and blue. And the majority of these plot along that 170-275 trend, except for one of the more iron poor 73215-534 spinels. And then the other two from Station 3, 73216 and 73263, are slightly more iron rich than the majority of the 73215 spinels. And then here's the Station 3 back in the context of more lunar spinels. And I've brought back in the blue box here representing the MG spinel composition. So Station 3 spinels are relatively iron poor compared to other lunar spinels, which I think is a lot more apparent in that larger graph that I showed at the beginning as well. And that Station 3 spinels have a really large range in aluminum and chromium contents. And looking at that blue box, we can see that the most chromium poor 73215 and 73215-170 spinels have the chromium number of the MG spinel, but they are more iron rich. So to summarize, we do not see MG spinel composition in Station 3, but we do see a representative chromium number in some 73215 samples. And we also see that 73215 spinels show a fractional crystallization trend, which implies that 73215 was derived from superheating within a thick impact melt flow, which was later broken up by impact and into smaller clasts. And then I also wanted to note that spinel-bearing lithologies can be generated from a magma ocean origin if it's a wet moon. So perhaps this could be what MCubes is detecting on that large occurrence scale if it was a larger origin. And then really quick, I just wanted to mention future work. I intend to look at 73001 and 73002 spinel compositions and model the spinel formation. I'm particularly interested in 73001 subsample 18B because it has this large bright phase that could potentially be spinel. Thank you.